Hey everyone, welcome back to Backwoods. I'm Andrew. Today I just wanted to go over just a few things that I have learned in the process of starting my seeds for the first time, and hopefully it can help some of y'all out there and hopefully answer a few questions that you may have. This obviously does not cover everything. This is not a tried and guaranteed to work because I can guarantee you will have plants that will not germinate. It will happen. Nothing will be 100% success. If you're like me, you can watch as many videos or read as many things and articles as you can about how to do things. Specifically, this one, how to seed, how to grow plants from seeds. I've just got to get in and start doing it, see what does and does not work. This also might not work in wherever you are. You might have to change up a little bit of things from the environment that you might be in where you live. I am in central Georgia, zone 8, if I believe. So this is just some of the things that I have experienced in this first set of seedlings that I've done and that I've gone through, that I see that didn't work, that I think that will work better, or that I'm going to change. Again, I want to first start off by saying that any products you see here, I am not sponsored by any means. I don't get anything for you purchasing or any of these. I just wanted to show you what I have used to get my seeds going and started. Also, I'm not a professional. This is the first time I've ever actually done this from the very seeds, and it's been very educational, and I've enjoyed it and watching the plants and seeds grow. So let's get started with one of the first questions that you might start with is, well, really where to start, what type of soil? Well, the best soil obviously is soil that is rich in nutrients and can hold moisture. I specifically use this type of soil right here. Right, Vertigo is all-purpose potting mix. It is a blend for indoor and outdoor containers. I chose to do that because, well, mine are obviously in small containers. It does continuously feed, although it's not organic. I personally want to try to move away from as many chemical fertilizers as I can. And your seeds don't really need a whole lot of fertilizer to start off with. So, but that was the best mix that I could find that really was good for holding moisture and things like that. So that's what I started off with. I eventually want to work to my own compost, and I'm working on that. But you really ultimately what you want is you want something that is really rich and obviously in nutrients. You can look at this soil, right, and see, I mean, it is extremely rich. It is moist. It keeps moisture very well. I do not have, even though they're in the little pots, I don't have to water them every day. I just got to check on them. So that's the main thing you want, is that it is right, especially the seeds. You want to make sure that it really, really holds the moisture in. And that's your main goal, really nutrient rich and moisture holding. Next, soil temperature is very important. If you really want to increase your chances of germination, as many seeds as possible to germinate and sprout, you really want to make sure that you have a consistent temperature on your soil. You can have the best soil, but if you have it and you put it in there and it gets too cold, it's too cold for the seed, it's not going to germinate. So you really need to make sure. I used a germination mat that I will, again, try to link all this in the description below. I use the germination mat to help keep a constant temperature on my soil, and it drastically increases, and I think it actually not only increases the chance of germination, I think germination is a little bit faster with it as well. Now, once they germinate and completely germinate, and you're getting and they've all popped up, you can kind of remove the heat off of them, the soil, and just work off of the grow lamps from there. But your soil temperature is extremely important. You can't put them in your seed trays and then just like leave them in your garage or outside and it get down to 50 degrees or 40 degrees at night and expect germination. It's not going to work. So your soil temperature is important, and you need to watch and maintain those. Even you don't have to. Again, you don't have to have a. I mean, if you have a nice greenhouse that's able to keep a consistent temperature and the soil a consistent temperature, then you'll be fine. But you've got to have a consistent temperature in the soil. Nice, and it varies between what you want to grow. I've learned, like my peppers and tomatoes, it called for about 85 degrees. So that's where I try to maintain it. The next is, you'll see in the video right here is you'll see the plastic dome over my seed tray. Are those important? And when should you take it off? Well, yes, they are actually important. It helps keep the heat in there, which helps keep your soil warm at a temperature, and it also helps keep the humidity in there. The seeds want a nice, moist, humid place to germinate off of. And if you don't, the soil runs a risk of getting too dry, and then it won't germinate again. So yes, they are important and they are necessary to really help keep the seed moist and warm to help germination. Now, when should you take it off? Well, that's you kind of got to watch your plant and understand what you're growing. Like tomatoes, you can take them off a lot sooner than you can with peppers. It's not like a set 3 days off of, once it sprouts or anything like that. And you might have some seeds that sprout at 4 days and some seeds that sprout at 6. So I would say you've got to kind of watch them and see what they're doing. If they're still growing and moving and still germinating and sprouting, I say leave it on a little bit. And let it continue to get there. And then when you notice that pretty much all of them is that are going to sprout, they have leaves, take them off. Take the humidity dome off, and then just let the grow lights go from there. All right. The next question, and this is something that I'm going to end up changing, is can you germinate different types of seeds? Well, yeah, my answer to that is yes and no. They need to be comparable as far as what they need and require, soil temperature, and I would actually say what's their germination time? Is it 4 days or 7 days or maybe even 10 days? You don't really want to put seeds that are in there that maybe say, like tomatoes, I think are anywhere from like 4 to 5 days, and my peppers took closer to about 7 or 8 days. So you don't really want to put seeds that are in there that some germinate at 4 days and they're up and ready to go, need to remove the dome, and the other ones they're just getting ready to germinate. You need the dome. So that's one of the things that I'm going to change up. Is I'm going to change how I did, and I'm going to change into a smaller. You can see in these, I'm going to change into some smaller germination little pods, because I found that I removed the humidity dome too early for the peppers, which I think caused some of the peppers to not germinate, and I lost some of the peppers. I'm like half as many peppers as I did tomatoes. The tomatoes took off. They germinate faster than the peppers. And the peppers are a little bit more finicky. They require more time to germinate. And so that's my thing. Now, if you have different type of tomatoes, like if you have just several different types, but it's of tomatoes, I think you can get away with that in one tray, like I used the first time. And you'll be fine with that. Just watch them. So that's one of the things I'm going to change is when I do another round of the tomatoes and peppers, I'm going to separate them into different seed pods, and so I can control them a little bit more. Where can you start the seeds, and is a greenhouse necessary? Well, I'll go ahead and answer the second part of that question. Is no, greenhouse is not necessary. However, if you have a nice, whether it be little, small, however, if you have a nice greenhouse, it can really help you out, especially when you start seeding stuff when it's just getting into spring and you might still have another cold snap or it just drop down a little bit, that's where a greenhouse would really come beneficial. So like I had to move mine inside because we had like a cold snap that dipped down into the 30s. And I didn't get it freezing, but it got down into the 30s and my plants were still too young to be leaving outside. I was afraid I was going to lose them, so I brought them inside. Now a greenhouse would help with that. You can keep it in the greenhouse, you can have heaters in the greenhouse, and you can keep it all outside in the same area and not have to move them. And if it warms up, you can open up your greenhouse and let it ventilate out. But I would say no, it's not necessary, but it can definitely help and make things easier. Now the first part of that question is, where can you start seeds? As far as location wise, well, you can see I actually started mine, all right? Mine started inside in our little office area underneath grow lights and on a heating mat. So you can start there. I would highly recommend you at least put it in front of a window. It's even though it's not direct sunlight, I do like it in windows, so I can open up so it can still get some natural sunlight as much as possible. So basically a controlled environment where it can try to get some light is what I would recommend. On a table in front of a window is a really great spot to start seeds. Last question that I have is, are grow lights needed? And my answer to that is yes, they are needed. They are needed to really get them up and going. And once you get established into the next pot out of the seed tray, then I would say no, unless you have to keep them inside. It is also necessary to make sure you understand that you need to make sure that the grow light is the appropriate length away from the plant. I started out and I had it too high, as many as my viewers pointed out, had it too high, which caused them to be, they just grew up too fast. They were too lanky, and I had to actually bury anywhere between 1/3 and 1/2 of them down into the soil to help them strengthen up. So I had noticed that after I did that, when I had to move them back inside, I dropped the lights and it helped them out. They started flourishing out instead of just going straight up. So make sure you do that. I don't know exactly the distance. I want to say one of my viewers said that it needs to be about 4 inches, no more than four inches away from the top of the plant. So, about yay, it's fine. I had mine probably closer to 10 to 12 inches, which was too high. But again, this is my first time I was thinking like the sun, but that light doesn't put anything out like the sun. So I don't know if you can hear in the background, my dog's barking right at the door at the garage. But we'll continue on. That's all the questions that I have that I would say that someone would need to try to get going. There are probably others that you might think of. If you have a question that you're not sure about, put it in the comments below. I will try to answer it. Again, I don't know everything. This is my first year I've actually done the seeds. It has been really neat and I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot and I'm trying to take what I've learned and I'm trying to expand on it and perfect it more. And then I'm gonna hope to branch out and do different types of vegetables as well. Again, these are a few things that I've learned with it. If it answered any of your questions, I hope it did. Most importantly, don't be afraid to fail, because it's not everything that you do is not going to work. That's fine. Just adjust and change. Your plants might die. Some seeds won't germinate. And again, that's fine. Just learn what does and does not work for you and your area and the plants that you would like to grow and expand on that. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this and you want to continue to keep up to date with these plants and other things going along with us here at Backwoods, please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but it helps me out, keeps me motivated to keep doing these, and it helps out the channel, and it costs you absolutely nothing just to hit that subscribe button and that like button, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you for watching again, and happy steading.